Hi, I'm Mike Christiansen, and in this blog I'd like to talk about what to look for in a private instructor. Now, you might be interested in a private teacher for yourself, or maybe in recommending a private teacher for your students, and I want to look for, or I want to talk about some qualities to look for in selecting a private instructor. So to begin with, maybe you'd want to know something about their training. What kind of background did they have? Did they study guitar at a university? Have they had some pedagogy training? Now, not that all great teachers have to have had that training. Some are great teachers just because of the experience they've had. But some pedagogy background would probably be a good thing if that's possible. So anyway, check on their background just a little bit. What kind of pedagogy training have they had? What kind of experience have they had teaching? Maybe some background in their playing. Can they play solo guitar? Are they playing with a band? What styles do they play? All of that kind of thing. So it's important to understand a little bit about where they're coming from. Also, maybe something to consider there is the cost. How much are you going to charge? And how do you want to be paid? Do you want to be paid monthly? Do you want to be paid by the lesson? I always think it's better sometimes to set it up so they're paying for a month of lessons at one time and pay for those lessons up front. And a good professional teacher will have some kind of a policy there for the payment. If the student has to be gone, I require a 24-hour notice. If I'm gone, I'll give you a 24-hour notice. If I don't, I'll give a free lesson. That kind of thing. So they show a lot of responsibility there for if they have to be gone or if the students have to be gone. Also, maybe check the studio setup. What kind of an environment is you're going to be taking the lessons in? You or your child or one of your students that you're recommending, where are they going to be taking the lessons? I don't think I would want to take, if I have a young child that's studying guitar, I don't think I'd want them to take them to the fraternity house to take their lesson there. So I'd want to have a nice studio set up, a place that's comfortable, and that I would feel safe in having my child take a lesson there. Also, you might check with them on what method they use. They might say, well, I use my own method, and guitar players are famous for doing that. But it's great if they have some kind of a core method. If they say, well, this is the book that I use, I augment it or I supplement it a lot with some other material. But it's important that they have a good core method that they use. The Consonus blended learning method is great for private instruction. It allows the students to practice at home with some video work online as well as some of the material the teacher would give them. Also, maybe ask the teacher what kind of styles do they teach. Maybe they're stronger in one style than another. You might get a teacher that said, well, I only teach finger style. I don't teach any flat pick work, or I only teach blues and I play with a pick, and I don't do much finger style stuff. I think it's important that students get a good kind of a well-rounded background there. If you can find a teacher that does both flat pick and finger style, that's great. Another good mark of a teacher will be their track record. How long have they had their students? Well, I've been teaching in this area, so how long has your longest student been with you? Well, they've been with me just, a few weeks, or my longest student's has been with me for a couple of months. On the other hand, if a teacher says, well, I've been teaching in this area for several years and I've had students with me right from the beginning when I've been teaching. Now, that could be good and bad. It could be good because the students like working with them. They've been successful in taking lessons from them. So it might be that the teacher has had some experience teaching those students, but just teaching them songs rather than encouraging them to go on and learn more about the guitar. Now, if it's an advanced teacher, they might be able to teach those students for years and years because they would have enough material to do it. A really good teacher would know their limits and say, I can take them to this point, and then I want to refer them to someone else. I want them to take lessons from someone else. So that's an important consideration. But again, like I said, if the teacher is an advanced teacher, maybe they'll be able to teach them for a long time. And backing up just a little bit, the absence policy is really, really important. That they let you know what to be expected when they're gone, and if the teacher has to be gone. It's also important that you know how his or her students sound. Have you gone to one of the recitals, or have you heard one of their students play somewhere where you can say, well, boy, they've done a good job of teaching the student, and because the student has a great sound and plays rhythmically correct and can read music, and all of those things that you would look for, that you would want your student to learn, look for in the students, if other students by the same instructor. Another consideration is the schedule. What kind of a schedule can we set up? Does the schedule meet with our schedule? Do you teach at a time when my student or when I can make it? I was going to say that it's kind of important, their skill as a player, but some of the best teachers I've had in my life were not that great a player. They played okay, they played really pretty well, but they weren't phenomenal. And some of the worst lessons I ever took in my life were from some exceptional guitar players. Now, I've also been fortunate enough to be able to take lessons from teachers who were great players, phenomenal players, but they also knew how to teach. They were patient, and they had all of those qualities that a great teacher has. They're considerate, they're professional in their speech and in their attitude. So that's very important. Another important consideration, do they schedule recitals? I think it's important that teachers every once in a while have a recital for their students. They can even accompany their students in the recital. And they don't have to play anything very advanced or very long, but have a recital where friends and the parents can come and listen to them play and see how they're doing. Another consideration might be is, do they belong to some organizations? Now, there might not be a lot of them out there, but there are some organizations set up that could, for guitar players, maybe local organizations that they might belong to. And it's important that they kind of keep in touch with their profession, that they know what's going on as far as equipment is concerned, as far as styles of music, who the players are out there to listen to, what kind of repertoire they'll be teaching the student. So these are all some important considerations that you might look for when you're selecting a private instruction for your private instructor, either for yourself or to recommend to some of your other students.